Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Bold and the Beautiful edition. All right, guys, today is Wednesday, September the 28th, 2022. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 6.5. I'm sorry, even with the questions are at the end, and it was still just a 6.5 to me. Let's get right into it. We see Steffy, Zende, Paris, and Finn comes in. So they're all sitting down or whatever. And I say, well, go on, say bye, Paris and Zende, because y'all know y'all don't have no storyline in this anyways. And they said, nah, we're gonna keep them a little bit. So they're all talking and Finn is just like, what's wrong with you, Steffy? And, they're asking her that too. And she said, oh, I just don't want to talk. I don't want a bad mouth in front of, Zende and Paris. And they're like, Zende, I'm family in Paris. And yes, and we know what's going on and we're not taking sides, but we see how happy Thomas is. Baby, you taking sides. What are you talking about? Hey, mama. Then you are taking sides. What are you talking about? But anyways, she just says it's Brooke. Brooke is starting this war and she's trying to say Thomas is an unfit father and all this. But anyways, Charlie come in and he says, hey boss, and then Zende and Paris both say they have to go. I said, well, why y'all do that? Now, why did y'all do that? But anyways, he asked Steffy, do I still need to let you guys know if Brooke is still around? Because, Ridge had been asking yesterday. And Steffy said, no, you don't have to let us know. As a matter of fact, nobody should be coming to this office. That's what Finn says. And Charlie like, why? He said, oh, I get it. And so anyways, Finn and Steffy talk. I'm not about to hold you long on this because they talk and she just tells him that she's concerned about Thomas and Brooke. And he says, Zende had said it too. I don't want a Forrester Logan showdown or war. And they're like, well, they're making it one. I said, what? Now, y'all know, well, I don't like Steffy either, but I don't like Brooke either. But I feel like y'all are making it one because the two people who are co-parenting, they're trying to do it peacefully. Well, I thought, but they were trying to do it peacefully. Like Hope has been very understanding about Thomas taking Douglas, and she's been understanding because she says he wants to spend time with his father. It's y'all, you Steffy, you Brooke, and everybody else that are getting in the way. Taylor, all of y'all are getting in the way of that. If y'all would leave it alone, this could be a peaceful existence or whatever. But anyways, y'all, then we go to because that's it with them. She's just stressed out because Steffy wants what Steffy wants as far as how she wants her family to look. And that's why she's stressed. If you would let stuff go and just focus on Finn, Kelly, and Hayes, you wouldn't be stressed about this at all. But you so worried about your mama being with Ridge, your mama being with your daddy, and Thomas and Douglas being together. Like, what adds stress to your life? Anyways, let's move on, Nikki. So then we see Brooke, Liam, and Hope, and they're all talking and whatever. And they said, well, Mom, were you really that concerned with the knife? She said it was a sharp knife. And she said Douglas was really staring at him and he's very impressionable. Now I said, Brooke, let this go. Now, I did say it in the first time. I said, well, the first day that Thomas had the knife, I said Brooke was looking like her eyes were going to the knife and you could tell that she was making something out of it. And the first day when he was cutting the apple, Thomas really wasn't doing anything with that knife, to be honest. Now that next day that they showed it, he was threatening Brooke with that knife. Like he was using that knife to drive his point home or whatever. And you can't do that you already know you can't do that with Brooke, so don't do it. So he know he was being intimidating. Like Thomas need to stop. But anyway, so Brooke says, yes, he was threatening and he shouldn't have that knife because Douglas was looking at him and Douglas could want to play with the knife, when Thomas isn't around. And I think that's what Liam's concern is or whatever. And both Liam and Brooke say, Hope, it is time to bring him home. And Hope is stressed out. And Hope is not my favorite person. I'm going to be honest with you because she's too whiny for me. But she is trying. She is trying to not have a custody battle. She's trying to appease Thomas. She's getting it from her husband. That's her husband, right? Yeah, she's getting it from her husband. She's getting it from her mom. And she is just trying to keep the peace. And so she's like, She don't want to hear this. You know, she don't want to hear that he had a knife and all that. She says, I'm going over there every day. I feel like he's safe. I don't see anything wrong. I don't see any of the signs. Douglas is a smart kid. If something goes wrong, he will tell me. And they said that's a lot of responsibility on Douglas. Yeah, he told you before, but why should a child have to do all that? Thomas just isn't stable. And Liam is like, well, to be fair, people didn't know it last time. And they said, will Ridge and Taylor them, will they really be objective and see what's going on with Thomas right in front of their eyes? Because they said our eyes are wide open. Oh, yes, they are. And y'all don't want the boy with y'all don't want Thomas with his son or whatever. And you know what? Hope just is like, I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna handle it. I'll handle it. And I mean, she's just trying to get them off her back at this point. So then we go to Ridge, Thomas, and Douglas. And CPS is there. And Ridge is Ridge. He's like, what are you doing here? Do you have a warrant? Baby, they trying to see this child. This isn't, oh God. But anyways, Thomas says, come in, see. And I'm sorry, Thomas was just too open, and he was just too open for me. And so they go in and they talk. They were like, can we talk to Douglas? He was like, yes, of course. And Ridge was acting like he was the parent that they called CPS on, because he was like, let mommy do this and then she'll play. Because he was like, what are you trying to figure out? What do you think is going on? And he was all aggressive and said, calm down, sir. That doesn't help. Like, this is CPS. So they talked to Douglas and they say, you like it here? He was like, yeah, it's got a pool. It's got I think a tennis court or something like that. It's got a screening room for movies. It's got everything that you could possibly want here or whatever. And he loves being with his dad. And they said, do you feel safe? He was like, safe? Yeah, I feel safe or whatever. Anyways, they tell Douglas go on. And so then they asked Thomas about the knife. And he says, this about the knife? He was like, I'll go get it. Too forthcoming for me. I'm sorry, Thomas did this. Thomas called CPS on himself. I said it. I think he did it. So they're investigating the knife and everything, and they're just saying our priority and objective is to keep these children safe or whatever. So Ridge, back up with all that. Every time I hear about like CPS and everything, there was a documentary on Netflix about this little boy. I believe he was in California, or he might have been in Dallas or whatever. But the things that they did to that little boy, his mother and his stepfather or whatever, it just broke my heart. So anyways, sorry, this custody and CPS made me think about that. But anyways, so they're just like, he's fine, or whatever, but I'm glad he's in this household. Thank you. And so they leave. The CPS agents leave. And so Thomas is like, oh my gosh, who would do this? I can't believe this. And then, but Thomas wasn't really upset about it. Now, Thomas he was just like, I'm just so disappointed somebody would think I would harm Douglas. And I was like, if somebody was to call CPS on me, I think I would be upset. Like, I would be I would be very upset about this and would let it be known. He too chill for me. But Ridge is upset or whatever, and he says, I wonder who would think something about me and a knife. And so then Ridge started thinking back to Brooke, where Brooke was talking about, I would call CPS. And so he said, and so Thomas is like, what you doing? Because Ridge going in his pocket. He's saying, I'm check something out or whatever. So then Ridge calls Brooke or whatever. And Brooke answers the phone because she's by herself now, and she's like, hello or whatever. And he says, Brooke, I gotta tell you what happened. And she was like, what is it? You sound upset. He said, I am upset. He said, Child Protective Services was just here. And she was like, oh my God, what happened? Is Douglas okay or whatever? And he was like, yes. And everything. And I don't know. It was just the way Brooke was acting. She was acting like, she acted like she didn't do this because she was at that house. And if she had done this, I feel like she would have, there would have been a different reaction. But her reaction was surprise and curiosity about like, and just being upset about like what happened, what's going on. And so he says somebody called Child Protective Services on Thomas about Douglas. And she was like, what? And then he was like, I have to ask you a question. Did you call them or whatever? And I said, Reg, shut your butt up. Like, just shut your butt up. Now, Brooke didn't do this, but I could see why he would think she would do that. So I'm going to give Reg the benefit of the doubt on that, because she did say she would call. But I'm sorry, Thomas was just too calm and collected or whatever. And the way he was looking when he saw his dad was about to call, and he knew he was about to call Brooke, because he knows that Brooke is the one who, I mean, it's too much of a coincidence that Brooke just said she would call Child Protective Services and all of a sudden they get called. I don't know. You tell me what you think, child. Y'all always do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode of What Happened on the Soaps, the Bold and the Beautiful edition. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.